Yo, hello, it's me, Demonata_4. Um, I'm a little bit tired to say I left doing a stream until much later, to be fair today. I've been going a lot later recently because there's some work being done in my house. Obviously not in my room, still no shelf or anything that was meant to go there. But yeah, I do have some new shelves over there. I don't know if... I had them yesterday, so I probably already mentioned them. But yeah. Anyway, so let me just set up Rumble real quick. Get that working. Did a hair wash today, so hopefully that looks nice for you lot. Hopefully my hair looks nice and pretty for you lot. Start. There we go. I just saw my streamer config, but I'm sure we will be fine, considering you would need to be streaming at the exact same time as me for that to matter. Anyway, and if you did start using it, I mean, I can just set up a new one. Anywho, I'm going to move that over there, so it's out of the way. So, I should have set up a scene before stream. Sorry, you're not going to see anything for just a second. I want to put two things here. I want to display... Yep. I want to be able to switch between two different things. So that's what I'm setting up right now. So this is one page, this is another one. Yeah, that should work. So scene 2. You know what? I'm just not going to see any... Oh, I hit myself in the testicles. Ow. Okay, plan. I'm going to close that. Close that. You guys just got to see everything, apparently. Because I had forgotten to open up the right thing for this jazz. Anyway, so... God, I could have just closed this scene. Anyway, for now, I'm going to leave this on. Actually, hold on. Let's also just quickly add source. Hey, by the way, this is how you just do this. I'm going to put my thing here because it's funny to see it flip. No, I'm not putting it back in. Cool. So, I honestly, maybe I should just... Oh, that's perfect. Oh no, it's counted as part of the... that's really fucking annoying. I might as well just... Yeah. Oh, that's frustrating. Oh well. Anyway, plan for stream today is I want to update my other deck. So I'm using stream to do that. I'm going to probably do it for maybe 2 hours. At least an hour on building my deck, and then so I've just been trying to figure out the best way to display stuff. My plan was essentially just to have new cards open here. I'll probably move things around later. Yeah. Whatever, let's just get into it. So, yeah, so these are some cards that I just put down for myself that, so, for clarification, I'm going to figure out a different way to do this. So if I move this out of the way, now I get to look at you guys, because my camera is actually this way. Honestly, I should just see that, to be fair. But essentially what's happening here is I got these bad boys. This is my Suki deck, and I need to modify the shit out of it because it is incredibly behind what I want for it. So yeah, it says last updated 4 days ago. That's stuff being added to considered. The actual deck itself has not been updated since I began making any sort of deck, since I made it like so many months ago. It's hard to look at the camera. Anyway, so yeah. I just decided to put some decks. I'm going to put this on double tap at some point. Buckle up, because it sounded interesting. That's the only reason it's here. But otherwise, we've got my Doctor deck, which honestly, the main thing I think it's just missing a bit on the curve. I think it should have a couple 0 cards, a few more 1s and 2s. Then it should be good. I think otherwise it's, it's fairly alright. It needs some edits, but I think it's on track. Maybe it needs a more like direction to it. I don't know. Maybe it needs more cards that have a lack of direction. That might also be it. Yeah, so for now we're going to be doing Suki deck. So yeah, that's just like a whole image for everything that I've got so far. Lands, sorceries, all that jazz. But for now, I'm going to quickly move this over to showing visual grid. Visual stacks? I don't know which one's better. What was the visual stacks then? Oh, this. Okay. I'm going to stick to visual grid. That way everything's nicer. Yeah. So let me just switch back over real quick. Scene 1. Down again. Abba. You know what? I'm gonna move Suki over here. I think that the thing I had set up works when I'm not streaming. It does not work if I'm streaming, unfortunately for me. Yeah, I'm just gonna actually just close that material so I'm not focused on it all the time. So let's start from the top. So I just saw a bunch of few things that I like the look of. I believe all of this is a green-blue thing, so let's quickly bring up Freylease. Okay, so Freylease. Oh yeah, for an explanation, so my Suki deck is essentially Suki herself is meant to be some sort of ballistic missile. That's the purpose of her as a commander. Essentially, the idea would be that post turn 4, I would be popping off Suki as a ballistic missile to just keep attacking. That's essentially her goal. Now, of course, what you want alongside that is a couple other useful characters like Shalai you'd want to have out with Hexproof. You'd want some sort of Indestructible as well. I don't know if I actually have that, to be honest. But another thing you want is more +1/+1 counters, just generally. Although that doesn't actually help Suki, so that's not super important. But instead what you want is greater token generator. So you want this to be, I think what I want from this is I want it to be like a green-white token generation deck, I think. I should have some solid cards for that. But then another problem comes from, which is I don't really want to lose all of those cards immediately. So another thing I need to think about is adding more just tanky cards that can help me survive until I've got enough cards out for Suki to be of worth. Kind of. I think I should still use Suki to just hit more frequently, which I've noticed sometimes when I play I just kind of forget about. But first deck, so what can you do? Oh, whoa, that wasn't meant to be open. Chat is disabled for this live stream. How does that work? Explain. Why is it disabled? I'm never streaming for this is made for kids or some shit ever again. Yeah, I don't understand why it changes. If you see me in my chair shaking, it's because I am shaking. I like doing that thing where you tap your leg. But I don't really sit in the best positions for it. Anyway, so yeah, so I guess I should start popping things in. So first we have Freylease Lenoa's Fury. Create a 1/1 green elf druid creature with tapped for nature. That's good. That might actually be really good for this deck, just because it means more token generation and more all that jazz. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, that's also really good. And then draw a card for each green creature you control, which is also really fucking good. And she can be a commander. It might be a shout to get a commander that isn't the one I have currently, I can't lie. I don't know. I don't know. I needed... I will say that's one of those things... Where's the... Where's the search bar? Wait. What? Hold on. Hold on. Damn. Spins. Okay. Oh, I was signed out for some... Fuck me. Okay, basically a couple... For some reason, my computer decided recently to just log me out of everything on this browser. So I use Firefox. I think Firefox updated and it just decided, yeah, we're going to forget everything you've done. Not really sure how to fix that. Not sure how to prevent that. So what are you going to do, I guess? Anyway, back to Suki Army. So, what I wanted to add was the Freyalise Lenoir's Fury. I wanted to have... That works. I wanted to just put her down, not as a guaranteed one, but more so putting into considering... Yeah, okay. So then... So we've got Lenoir's Fury, then we've got Freyalise's Charm. Enchantment. Whenever an opponent casts a black spell, you may pay 2, if you do draw a card, returns enchantment. I don't think this is really that great, to be honest. I mean, it is good. It's alright. It's good. It's just not that useful for me, because I don't play against people who do black, unfortunately. Skyshroud Partisan. Untap up to 1 target elf. The elf and 1 random elf creature card in your hand perpetually get +1/+1. Seek an elf card. Conjure a card named Regal Force onto the battlefield. Yeah, so if I... Hold on, there's got to be a way to do this. Oh no, this is like tags and stuff. Hold on. There is a way to do this. Give me a second. Subtype? Angel Badger, Centaur, same. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I've got 2 elves and 1 way to make perpetual elves. I don't think I need that. I'm probably going to, by the way, switch out Jaheira for a different tap for mana. I don't think Jaheira's that great. But, Human Elf Druid. I'm assuming that just means Jaheira is a mixed race of some kind. Anywho, yeah, I just don't have enough elves for this one to be worth it. Freyalise Irradiance. Cultivate Upkeep. At the beginning of your upkeep, put an age counter on this permanent and then sacrifice it unless you pay its upkeep cost for each age counter on it. Snow permanents don't untap during their controller's untap steps. It's alright. Freyalise Winds. Enchantment. But whenever a permanent becomes tapped, put a wind counter on it. With a wind counter on this. On it would untap during its controller's untap. Or counters from it. Okay. Song of Freyalise. Until the next turn, creatures you control gain tap for any one of 1 mana, and then put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain whatever. I mean, this actually is really good, and it might stack really nicely with some other stuff. I could just search it, but I wanted to just click on it like that. Bam, bada bing, bada boom. Go down to enchantments, pair it into considering. There we go. I've got lots in considering. Oh wait, I put in the wrong thing. Okay, so you can currently see how poorly laid out this is. I need to work way harder on that. Colourless mana production isn't that important, but let's see why I have it first before I start just deleting anything related to that. I'm down with that one. Okay. Why do I have you? Search for to do basic land cards that share a land type. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Okay. I think my lands should be fine. My lands should be fine. So let's continue. Let's continue going. And yes, I will keep clicking on that if I leave that there, so I will move it. Good point. So yeah, Frey's Supplicant. Sacrifice a red or white creature. This creature deals damage to any target equal to half the sacrificed creature's power. Rounded down. It doesn't say it has to be your red or white. That's the thing. That's the only thing I would say that makes this good. And I do go against someone with lots of red and whites, so part of me does want to take this. I just think it's a bit expensive. Hold on, let me just check that real quick. Does work on other players' creatures. Okay. Not useful at all then, because that just fucks off my whites, which isn't too great for me. Disciple of Freyalise, and it's a turnover for the Garden of Freyalise. When this creature enters, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is that creature's power. Freyalise is gone, but her song lives on. Then we have the Garden of Freyalise land. As this land enters, you may pay 3 life. If you don't, it enters tapped. And then you've got a tap for green. I mean, it's a nice card. I'm just curious how you decide which one's which. I'm assuming it's you can play it as a land or as a thingy. God damn it, I thought I put on this on the bloody other side. Why does it keep opening over here? Bastard. Sorry, my curiosity's getting the better of me. Give me 1 second. Open. No. My curiosity upset me. Alright. Moving on. I don't think it's worth it. It feels like... No, but it could be really good. You know what? Just say for Freyalise. Oh, wait. I just realized how fucking expensive that is. I'm going to put it in considering. Just because I have a full process in mind here, which is essentially, think about it this way. If Freyalise sacrifices things for yada yada, I could theoretically sacrifice Suki herself. So I get a decent card out immediately. I already know I can put down another Suki probably next turn unless someone destroys all of my guys. And then immediately after... when I put her down the first time, I can put down a Disciple of Freyalise to just draw like half my fucking deck. I would only use it if I had a reliquary tower. So I would not only be required to essentially just immediately bump my stats. Like I would essentially need like the perfect turn for Suki to get all of her benefits, a bunch of tokens to come out, yada yada yada. And then right after that, I would also need to have a reliquary tower in my hand or somewhere available to me to then put down later down the line. And of course, that's also thinking of the fact that that is a 6 mana cost creature, which means I would need to be at least 6 turns in by that point. So there is a big question on that one. If I feel like I'm struggling and I've managed to max out my Suki, then I know problems are going down, which this is a good backup card for that, but I will think about that more. Anyway, that's all for Freyalise. Essentially for Freyalise, we just Song of Freyalise, Freyalise Lenore's of Fury, and the Cyber of Freyalise are from that set. So, moving on, we've got Huatli the Sun's Heart, legendary planeswalker. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. You gain life equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Now the problem is, this kind of completely goes against Suki. However, if we do consider the fact that Suki I don't think I'm going to be putting this one down. I kind of want to keep Huatli in mind for like a different deck. But unfortunately it doesn't work for this one. Because if, let's say, my deck was building around the idea of Ba Sing Se's Walls of Ba Sing Se was the thing I was building around, I think it could work. Because I would specifically be building a deck for a defender-based deck. Unfortunately, my defense stat is kind of dog shit across the board. I mean, I have Elish Norn and stuff, but other than that, to my knowledge, it's kind of crap. So I think I won't be going for that. I do think it's still a really good card for defender decks. It's one of those things that I think I might actually send to a friend just to make sure he's aware of it. Yeah, let's just send it to him. Forget about it. But yeah, I mean the best benefit is the life equal thing. But the problem is then that you have this permanent planeswalker effect, which is just not helpful at all for me. I would only consider adding it if my entire turn was going king dog shit, or I had something that allowed me to attack with my defenders. Otherwise, useless. Moving on. Huatli Radiant Champion. +1, put a water counter on Huatli for each creature you control, which, you know, it quite easily stacks up with the idea I've already got in mind. Target creature gets +X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. That's fancy. That's nice. We love it. And then you get an emblem with, whenever a creature you control enters, you may draw a card. Pretty simple. So you know what? Hold on. I want to check something, because do the creatures include tokens? Because if tokens are included in this -8, my god. First ability where you control no creatures, you'll get 1 loyalty counter from the ability's activation cost and no other rules. The number of creatures you control is counted only as Huatli's first or second ability results. Once the second ability results, the bonus won't change, even if the numbers you control. Huh? You control is counted only as it resolves. Bonus won't change even the number of creatures. Oh, so it's just for that piece of time. So the question is, Huatli White Radiant. Are tokens counted on the creature count? Let's check. They are. Verb. I know what I'm going to do today. I'm adding Huatli Radiant Champion because I feel like that just sets up quite neatly with everything else. She's already become a top pick, I feel like, for one of the ones I definitely would consider. Anyway, moving on. Huatli's final strike gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Its damage equal to the power. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. It's just a good setup thing. And I think it works really well with Suki herself. So, again, I might not add this in the end. I might add this in the end. Oh. Sorry about that. We will see. We will see. I think it's a good one. Enti's name will grace our poems and histories for generations. Yours will collect dust, forgotten in this case. Sorry, forgotten in this cave. Huatli Tavita. Yep. I already did that speech before, but felt like I might as well repeat it. Huatli's Raptor, Vigilance. When this creature enters Proliferate, choose any number of permanents and or players, and then give each another counter of each kind already there. So, I don't think I should add this one. See, at first I was thinking I should add it because I thought it would stack with Suki's thing, but I always forget Suki isn't, like, you're not adding +1/+1 counters. Suki is just, the attack is equal to that value. It's not a counter. So unfortunately, Proliferate wouldn't work on that sort of thing. But it is also a cheap. It is a cheap dino for that amount of mana, so I can get it out. God damn it! I can get it out quite quickly in that like early price range. So I'm still gonna add it to my to my considering. Just because I can think of some uses, and I definitely have a couple counter fingers in my deck, so I'm not like against using counters or something. Huatli Sunborn. Vigilance attacking the doesn't cause it to tap. Again, it's another thing you can put down on turn 2, which is just splendid. Especially once I start ramping, I can just put all these guys down. It has Vigilance as well, which means I can just spam you with 2s. I don't know, I think it's pretty good. It's a good thing to have out, and if I can buff it, it's also great. So, alright, Snubhorn. You Snubhorn dog. And then finally we have Sarah the Benevolent. So these are just some ones I put to the side specifically for this. I think after this I'm going to look for some green-white decks. I don't know what the word for that is, unfortunately. And then I'm going to just sort out my deck. If I can't do it all today, I'm doing it tomorrow as well. I have plans tomorrow to go out for Chinese and then do a bunch of Magic. So I might just go out for Chinese a bit early, grab it, take it back, so around like 5-ish or something. Start streaming while I'm eating Chinese, do all of this, but then I'm going to have to dip because I have a mate I'm going to play Magic with, ironically, that day. But hopefully I'll have done enough for this deck so I'll be able to use it, because otherwise it's a bit sad, really, isn't it? Okay, +2 you control, creature you control with flying, get +1/+1 until end of turn. Create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying vigilance, and you get an emblem with, if you control a creature, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. I think that's a really good thing to have, and I think in my deck that could pop off. Again, it's tokens. The main thing is the best thing is the tokens, but then the flying thing. Now, if I remember correctly, I'm putting in my considering real quick. But if I remember correctly, oh, that's a really cool card. I have something that gives everything in my deck flying. Double tokens, +1/+1 creature control, and they gain flying until next turn. So that plus, hold on, does that stack? Give me a moment. Does it stack? So creature control flying, get +1/+1 until end of turn. And you can also stack that with Elspeth Stormslayer and just give all of them flying anyway. Yeah. Do I have anything that has a permanent effect of flying? We'll see. Hexproof, not flying. Hold on. Oh. Jesus Christ. Instant wouldn't make sense. What about you? Oh, yeah, Chroma's Memorial automatically just means... yeah. Yeah, okay, so having a Chroma's Memorial just automatically means that everyone gets affected by that ability. So, okay, so I'm gonna... I think I'm gonna move everything from my sideboard to considering, bar the things that I am fairly certain off the dome of my head were added for a reason. Give me a second, let me just move these over. I believe the first two might have been things that were already in my deck that I moved while I was thinking about all this jazz. You will notice that a lot of these are titans of some sort. Like, they're just massive bastards. I might look through Strixhaven to see if there's some other similar things. Ignore some of the energy mounts, because one, lands will hopefully flow like butter by a certain point, and two, a lot of them have things that discount them in terms of cost. Anyway, so Anglass Airbender, I bend up to one other target non-land permanent. He's too expensive for this move, I think. Whenever you cast a lesson spell, Ang gains lifelink and turn to turn. Yeah, I think Ang as a whole is kind of... He doesn't really set up anything well enough in my deck, and he's a bit too expensive to put in there willy-nilly, you know? Like, if he was 2 or 1, I'd be fine with that, but obviously he has to be 4 because he's free 2 and he has some decent abilities. Then we have Apple Flying Bison. Enters or attacks, choose 1. Target creature you control gains flying and turn to turn. Or you can airbend a permanent you control. I would rather just have an airbending effect. Although this is... It enters or attacks. So it's constant. I'll think about it. Then we'll go through the rest in a second. I want to think about what I've got currently, what I remember missing, and then, yeah. I'm going to make some notes. You're not going to see any of them. They're in front of me, unfortunately for you. But just know, whatever I've said is being turned into a note. So right here, you can't see anything anyway. The light from my screen is just like penetrating everything. Pause. Anyway, let's get into it. So, Suki is our commander. So obviously from Suki, what we want is dupe tokens, generate tokens, yeah, that's it. That's all we need. We want lots of creatures, so I might increase creature count. So more creatures. But otherwise, as long as we hit those things in the first place, we're hitting every other thing that would be required surrounding her. She is lacking in defense, so invincible or flying are quite nice as well. So let's note those down as well. And of course, she's vulnerable to hexes, to any form of like magic, essentially, because she's not got any like defendings against that. To be fair, she's a little bit expensive for what she does, I will say. But I guess starting off with a 4 in any stat and then a infinitely possibly growing attack, kind of, I think it makes it all right. But yeah. So let's just put that down as slash hex proof. Okay, so that's kind of what we want for Suki. So let's just make a note of which ones of these actually benefits that. So Elspeth, she creates tokens. She doubles the number of tokens that are made, and she does +1/+1 counters on each creature you control, which all gain flying for a bit, which automatically means she hits dupe tokens, generate tokens, more creatures, because she's creating tokens and creatures, and also, yeah, well, she doesn't really, never mind, I take that back. Not really more creatures. She also destroys target creatures an opponent controls with mana value 3 or greater, which is also stunningly great. Not the most important thing she has, but still useful. And then, yeah. But yeah, it hits the flying, so obviously a great card. Probably should be keeping that. Then we have Avacyn's Pilgrim, which is good for white mana, I will say. But I'm not sure how much white mana we even need. Let's think, in total, including this stuff, what is the total in white mana we need? Just explicitly white mana. We need 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 3. Yeah. You know, I guess 1 green mana for 1 white mana ain't too bad. It ain't too bad. I just realised why Jaheira is really fucking useful. I completely forgot. Completely forgot. That's on me. So, yeah, so Avacyn, he's good because he's just another land, essentially. It's a land that can take a couple hits, which is it's just useful for later down the line. So, I'm fine with keeping Avacyn. Avatar Enthusiast. Whenever another ally you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So, it doesn't really benefit any of the things specifically towards Suki, but considering Suki is an ally, how about we do the test? Let's see the test. So group, subtype. We've got 1 ally, including our commander. No other allies? Are you fucking serious? Really? That's fucking useless. Hold on. Are you serious? None of these other guys are allies. That's annoying. Okay, let's check our no subtype. Oh yeah, no, they don't have any subtypes. That's fine. Okay, let's just quickly check tokens. Which ones are any of these allies? So we have. Okay, so Suki's tokens are allies automatically. So there is a benefit there. They're getting every time a token creature comes out, that's an ally. While this guy's out, puts a +1/+1 on him. So that's good. Any other allies than that? I don't believe so. Hold on. You'd think the Astartes Warriors would have been allies, but oh well. And then we have 1 more ally being Suki, Courageous Rescuer. Oh my god. Okay, I think this card is. I think I need to move this to my sideboard because I'm not sure how useful that is. It's useful for typings. It's useful for getting another heavy hitter, but it's not that great because I don't believe there's any white banding. Any cards that banned white color creatures. Okay, Cathedral of Serra. That might be what we need. Okay, let's check Cathedral of Serra, Helm of Chatzuk. And then Formation. Okay, banding, they all have banding, so that's not what we want. Okay, cool. So Formation, Helm of Chatzuk, and then Cathedral of Serra. Okay. Keep in mind, this is just for one thing. I'm putting this much thought into something that's sole purpose is essentially just buffing another one of my random cards. So, I mean, I think that's fine, but I still find that funny. So, Cathedral of Serra, Helm of Chatzuk. Helm of Chatzuk. Target creature gains banding until end of turn. Oh, it's a tap. In which case, no, we're not using that. I would have been fine with it, but unfortunately, because it's only 1 targeted creature, it's just not very useful. Formation. I'm sure you understand. If I've got nothing like that, then what's the point? Let's close that. So, Formation. It was just called Formation, so there we go. Target creature gains banding until end of turn. Draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. Oh. Well then. Okay. Now I think that could be positively used. So if we go over, for fuck's sake, if we just put this back onto group type, and then we go over to the the sideboard. Essentially, if I had Avatar Enthusiast down, and then Cathedral of Serra, and either one of these, the artifact or the instant, essentially I could have any one of my legendary whites, so Suki Kyoshi Warrior, Elspeth Stormslayer, Elspeth doesn't attack, never mind, Conclave Mentor, oh sorry, no, fuck, sorry, I forget the details sometimes, Elish Norn, what else would I have, that's white, Syphilis, okay, what else, Salai, Mondrak, Kutsil, and Zuko Redeemed, or otherwise known as someone else the Redeemed. So all those lads could attack all at once, just in one go all together. So there is a thought process that's telling me that I should probably go for this, but I'm gonna go for the rest of the cards before I decide I want to go for this foursome, this fearsome foursome. Anyway. Moving on, then we have the Badger Mole and Badger Mole Cub duo. So Badger Mole, creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them have Trample. When this creature enters Airbend 2, the target land becomes a thing with +1/+1. So part of me does want to keep this. Reason being that, again, I've got my Suki, and obviously she doesn't actually get counters, so it's not that relevant to her. However, because of the fact that I have Elspeth in this thing and a couple other things that create counters, I can get counters on her quite easily. And because of that, I can put Trample on her. So that's the main reason I have Badger Mole. That's the thought process there. I don't think there's anything else I have that can give Trample. And I will say this one card deems it almost completely unnecessary for me to go down this like extravagant route of Avatar Enthusiasts, Formation, Helm of Chatzak, and Cathedral of Serra, simply because, well, the main person I'm bumping up is just gonna have access to everything more easily. I'm sure that, to be fair, I could look at better alternatives to Badger Mole. Badger Mole alternatives, MTG. I don't want, there we go, Bizarre Magic. Let's see. What's similar? I want cheaper. That's what I want. What is going on? Reject. Yeah. So obviously we've got the Badger Mole card. Toff Blind Bandit. Toff's power is equal to number of +1/+1 counters on lands you control. There seems to be a misunderstanding here. I didn't mean it like that. Okay. No, what I want is alternative MTG for giving Trample to another creature. 28, okay. Oh, goodness. Trample to all creatures of power 4 or greater. Okay. Okay, that's actually really good. Okay, what else? Provides +1/+1 trample and hates making creatures immediate threats. Whoa, okay, these are frightening cards. So many creatures that don't have trample. Trample enablers. Let's check these. Trample guarantors. So I am curious if some of these cards show up. So if I just quickly... Gore Claw is there. Surak and Gore Claw. Yeah, okay, it's there. Gore Claw. Okay, it seems like everything on here is going to be in that, so I'm just going to close it. Oh, enchantment. When Garruk's Uprising enters the battlefield, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. Creatures you control have trample. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. I mean, that's just really good. Okay, I think I just need this card. I'm getting rid of Badger Mole Cub, I think. I think that's the way to go. Love you, Badger Mole Cub, but you're too expensive for what you do. So I'm going to move you to sideboard and add Garruk's Uprising instead as a replacement. Let's look through some other options, though, because I don't mind a couple. My god, that's expensive. Yeah, I'm good. I mean, it's just an extension of Suki, essentially. It's just Suki point 2, which ain't too bad. but it's expensive, and if I had that in my hand, I'd want to kill myself. Land. Target creature gets that. No. Overwhelming Stampede. Until the turn creatures you control get trampled and... that's alright. I would like... I want some attackers, but I want them to not be super expensive. So, okay, so this guy's evenly similar strength. Creatures symbols you cast with power 4 or greater cost 2 less to cast. Okay. I don't actually have that many that are high damage, because, again, my goal is to get Suki out. So that's alright, but it's not that great. Whenever Goreclaw Terrorcal Sisma attacks, each creature you control with power 4 or greater gets +1/+1 and gains trample. It's not too bad. It's not that bad, to be fair. Triumph of Hordes. Kodama of the West Tree. Reach. Modified creatures you control have trample. Equipment, auras you control, and encounters are modifications. Whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage, search library for basic. I'm fine. Whoa. Okay, Nisa. Okay. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Turn creature you control get creature forest you control get damage. I mean, these are good, but they scare me. That's the biggest problem. They just scare the shit out of me. Endray's Forerunners. Again, these are all lots of like end of the game guys to fuck everything up. Green creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast a creature spell, target creature you control gets +2/+2. That's not too bad either. Oh shit! I sense something in the air that's going to cause me to have way too much of anything. I'm actually cooked. Hold on, I need to go into my YouTube thing real quick because I'm just curious about something. I don't care if you see my my bad stats. Content. Live. Can I just not get comments? I'm confused. That's what I want to know. 0. Why is it blue? Why are you blue? Explain. Why am I blue? Why is this crap blue? Okay, let's look. Video link. Alright, close you. Let's check. I just want to see why is it blue. Why are there no comments? Am I not allowed, is it just saying I'm not allowed to comment, or can you not comment? Oh, fuck. I will completely just assume that it has nothing to do with anything and it's just stupid. Whatever. Rona's Monument, get over here. Okay, Badgermole Cup. Why are you useful in any way? Because I see people hyping you up. Why are you good? Earthbend 1. When you tap a creature for mana, add an additional green. Yeah, obviously that's super fucking useful. Never mind, I take that back. That means that by the time... Automatically, when I get this creature out, it means I'm automatically at a 4. If I were... Let's say I managed to get this out pretty much immediately. It's straight from 2 to 4 lands, so... Yeah, why would I... Oh no, it's whenever you tap a creature for mana. Well, if I got Avacyn's Pilgrim out, then... Yeah, no, that's good. I don't have that many things that make things do that, but I have lots of things that do that, so it's fine. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there. Conclave Mentor. If one or more +1/+1 encounters will be put on a creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters +1 are... That many +1/+1 counters are put on that creature instead. When it dies, you gain life equal to its power. That's fine. That's good. It's a good way to get life. It comes out quite cheaply, and it has fun with +1/+1/+1 counters. What? It has fun with +1/+1 counters. There we go. Better. Elish Norn. Actually, hold on. You know what? I'm starting to think that I might not have enough +1/+1 counters from that for that to even be worth it. So I might put this into my sideboard. And on that same note, I'll probably put Frilgary Vector and Kami of Whispered Hopes over there as well, because those are both +1/+1 focused things as well. Oh god, saying +1/+1/+1/+1 is giving me a brain ache. I'm genuinely struggling to think. So then we have additional Mother of Machines, Vigilance. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger the ability triggers a second. Deep breath. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, the ability triggers an additional time. Permanents entering the battlefield don't cause abilities of permanents your opponents control to trigger. Got you. Okay, wonderful. It's just a good card. The only thing I will say is I'm not sure how many of my cards have that ability effect. I don't believe Suki's power is equal thing counts as a trigger. However, her creation of tokens is a trigger. So Elish Norn does affect the tokens and doubles them. No, I think it actually might be worse. It might quadruple them. Give me a second. If I have Elish Norn out with Suki alongside, let's say, Elspeth Stormslate, someone who dupes tokens in the first place, that means that Suki has the effect create a token. Elish Norn then kicks in and dupes that effect. Both of those effects then duplicate once more, thus meaning that Elish Norn creates two more. Okay, I guess it is a duplicate, but it's duplicate before everything, which means it's, I don't know, my brain, I like it, so I'm going to keep it. Bit expensive, but when this is out, you know, things are already going crazy, so it's fine. Okay, then we have Jaheira, Friend of Forest. Now this one might be the most useful thing I have. I do need to look for more token control ones, because there might be ones with better effects or better stats overall. However, Jaheira's ability to give tokens the ability to tap for mana, not only does that stack with Badger Molcub, wherein it would give an additional mana, but also, I'm building a token deck. All of this is creating tokens. My goal is to make as many tokens as possible in as little amount of time as possible. That's the essential way my thing is meant to be built. So essentially with Jaheira, that means that all of those tokens now can produce mana alongside whatever else they can do. Which just, vicious. Vicious. However, the only thing I will say is that it makes me want to have a card that relies on, has an X mana cost. So I might pull up one of my other decks, my Quandrix Magic, my Magic Frog deck. Hold on. No, I'm looking at other people's decks. I want to look at my decks. Alright, Math Frog. I have a feeling Math Frog's going to have some nice things to stack with that. So, X number of cards in hand. We don't care, we don't care. Well, actually, there might be some things that are quite useful here now that I think about it. But we will move on instead of thinking about that immediately. Cuboid Colony. No. XX. Where are the X's? And I know you have an X for Fractal Creature tokens, which actually might be useful, but you're a blue-green, so that's fine. Kami. Ivy. What do you do again? When another green creature enters the battlefield under control, but +1/+1 on creature, that's fine. Forgotten. Emil, what do? You control with +1/+1 counters on them, have trample. Emil, you daring dog. I might have to add. Ooh, no, I don't want to. Things. Let me. No! Fuck. God damn it! My brain, short circuited there. I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that other thing. Ended up doing it anyway. God damn it. Suki Army, I'm going to put you on the sideboard real quick. Add. And then you can go to the main deck, because I wanted you there in the first place. But that isn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to check. I'm looking for something, and I'm getting distracted. Tap your mana pool, that's fine. Blah, 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 blah. Not useful, not useful, not useful. Well, they might be. I'm just looking for one thing. Hold on. When it enters X, draw X, rounded down. Based on mana, but it's a blue. Fuck. Hate it when I'm reading it, and I remember that it is an X. It's an X. Okay, Animist's Awakening. This might be one I need. So let's just add to another deck. Sideboard, add to deck. There we go. Germination. Oh, that's a really good shout. I should start considering putting... Oh, this is another hell. This is another hell I'm creating for myself. Oh, God. Whenever you draw a creature spell this turn, draw a card, yeah. Oh, that's annoying. Sorry, I'm realizing stuff and it's freaking me out. Essentially... Whoa. Whoops. Do I not have a live chat? Am I blind? I might be blind. My confusion is great. But I'm greater. I bet if not just added towards the concurrent viewers, that would be annoying. God. YouTube is confusing. YouTube really is. I'm certainly considering at some point that I'm just gotta remember that next time I'm not putting this on for kids, because that seems to be where my confusion is coming from and my issues are coming from. So yeah. Anyway, so we're looking for more X cards. X. Okay, shut up. It's another good one. Add to another deck. God, that's a bit considering. There we go. No. God damn it. Actually, apologies for that obscene look. Add to another deck. Considering another deck. There we go. Blah 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 blah. I don't think this whole X thing is important enough for Unbound Foresting. Let's add this one to another deck, considering a deck. And I think that's it. I think that's all I'm going to do from here. Obviously, we've got quite a few things on the sideboard, so I'll just quickly have a peek at that. But it should be good. Alright. Moving on, back to the frog. Let's rewind. God, I'm starting to get tired. It just hit me all of a sudden. It is midnight, to be fair. You can't see it because my face is in the way, but it does come out saying that. Anyway, continuing on. So, Jukai Naturalist. Lifelink enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Considering my enchantments currently numbering 16 and probably going to grow, I'm fine with keeping that one. Even if it doesn't add towards my main Suki stuff, it's overall pretty useful. And if I can get this guy out early compared to my opponent, I can start farming some life. So, positives. Catseal Malamute Exemplar. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Whenever one or more creatures you control, each with power greater than its base, deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Yeah, I'm fine with keeping this one. This is beneficial towards the whole base thing. I believe Suki would count as being greater than its base. I could be wrong on that one. Someone would have to fact check me on that. I could just ask my friend, to be fair, to deal on him. But also, I mean, overall, I've got lots of dupe things for counters and tokens, lots of, generation. I think this works really neatly with it. So it slots in quite nicely. It's a bit more expensive in terms of cost compared to a couple other things, but overall, I think it's worthwhile. Then we have Mondrak. This one I feel a bit in between on. It's really useful in tokens wise because it doubles the amount of tokens you create. The only problem I will say it has is that you kind of need to set up the indestructible aspect of it, otherwise it falls apart a little bit. That's the only problem. Now, obviously, if I were to, for example, get out the Walls of Barsing Say beforehand, which I have no idea how I would do, I could bypass that whole thing in general. But, I mean, by then I would have been able to do Mondrak's whole thing anyway, so. Is what it is. Then we have Shalahi Voice of Plenty. It gives +1/+1 counters, and also hexproof. Yeah, nice. Nice. Unfortunately, the hexproof doesn't actually affect Shalai. That's the only problem with Shalai, is that the hexproof is limited. Then we have Sithis. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Again, I've got a lot of enchantments. Token decks have a lot of enchantments. What can I say? Well, my token decks have a lot of enchantments because I don't have to build a deck. Then we have Walls of Ba Sing Se. Obviously, indestructibility, 30 defense, defender, blah blah blah. Anyway, it's going to be the equivalent. It's the pure equivalent of that sentence, of that quote of, "There is no war in Ba Sing Se. There is no war against my deck because everything else is dead." Then we have the Ultramarines or Honor Guard. These guys are just they're more tokens. Squad 2. You may pay 2 any number of times when this creature enters the battlefield. Create that many tokens that are copies of it. Obviously, I'd want to get this out a bit later, but at the same time, with my ramp, hopefully by the time I would get this guy out, I would already have enough mana to kind of like supplement all the problems. But also, other creatures, meaning anyone other than the Ultramarine Honor Guard himself, gets a +1/+1. So, pretty decent. Yeah, I think being a 3 mana cost already is a pretty decent spot for what it is. Obviously, it being a 2/2 means that cost is a bit high, I would say. But because it has squad, I think it kind of evens itself out. And that effect of +1/+1s is just spectacular the more tokens I have. Which obviously I'm building for tokens, so I'm going to have a shit ton. Thank God. Zuko is another beast of a card. I kind of want to see if there's some other designs for this. But while I look for that, what Zuko allows you to do is he allows you to create a token of your own. 1/1 green and white elf warrior creature token. It's a bit expensive for what it is, requiring 3 mana. However, once you get 6 mana, you can double every single token you own. Basically, I would have Zuko out pretty much immediately if I could, and just kind of push him to the side and kind of ignore him for the whole time. And then once everything goes crazy, I'm popping off with Zuko redeemed, and I'm duping every token I have. So now, if I have anything that benefits from tokens, I just pop off. If I have Suki, I pop off. Also, because I'm making more tokens, I technically could make quadruple the tokens. I can create mana from every single one of those tokens. I now have double the tokens. Half of them can just be for mana. That would be spectacular. But yeah, no, it gets scary really fast, is basically what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I think creatures are pretty set. Obviously, I want to fill them up. I think I want like double the amount of creatures I have currently. Obviously, that means I need to take some stuff out of other stuff, but we will more than likely do that in like 5 seconds, so I wouldn't worry too much. I did just misclick, yes. So, Aang's Journey. Kicker 2, you may cast an additional 2 as you pay an additional 2 as you cast a spell, which allows you to search for a basic land card. If the spell was kicked, you can search for a basic land card and a shrine card, reveal those cards, put them in your hand, and then shuffle. You gain 2 life. For 2 mana, technically 4, but basically 2 mana, that's spectacular. I'd want to use that early, I'd want to use that late. It's good overall. Lots of land cards can come from this. And I think I do have a couple shrine cards in my deck, so if I just scroll down, I'll see them. Hold on. We've got the Selvan Air Temple, which is all about counters. And then we've got Kyoshi Island Plaza, which is all about lands. So, yosh, we're good to go. Yeah, so Bala Ged Recovery. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand, or you have a land for tapping. So I'm going to keep that. I think it's a good thing to have graveyard to hand, but also it's useful because you get more mana, possibly, depending on what you want. The only problem I find with it is that I would need something that lets me return cards to hand to feel comfortable using this, to be fair. but otherwise, I'm pretty sure of that. Idyllic Tutor. Search your library for an enchantment card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and then shuffle your library. Yeah, I want that. I've got lots of enchantments. So, yeah. Those numbers, the enchantment numbers are not going down. Well, they might a little bit, but I doubt they're going to stay down. Last march of the Ents can't be countered to draw cards equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control, then put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. So that's just amazing. Combine that with something like Bar Sing Se, which these come out around the same time. So theoretically speaking, you could put down the walls of Bar Sing Se and the next turn put down the last march of the Ents, which is just hits off with one another. Quite a scary combo, I would say, considering you can then pull essentially almost like you can pull out not a third, but somewhere near almost a third of your cards. You can just put it straight on the field. But yeah, anyway. Nature's Law. Search your library for a forest card and put that card into play. Shuffle your library afterwards. It's pretty decent. There might be some better options. I will check for better options. Let's check. You know what? Fuck it. Let's check. Better options to... I forgot the name already. My goodness. Nature's Law? Nature's Law. Nature's Law. MTG. For a green-white deck. What? 3 visits. Okay. Let's check. So 3 visits. Search your library for a target forest, put into the battlefield, then shuffle. Oh, these are not the same fucking thing. I'm confused. How are these different? No, I got that. These are the same card. No? Why is my chat disabled for this live stream? I don't understand. The one stream where people seem to be viewing. Some bullshit. Hold on. Ignore me. Blah, blah, blah. Analytics. A minute? Really, lads? A minute? That's fine. No, I don't care. I don't have it in me to care. Warning, current bit rate is lower than recommended. What? I'm never doing that again. Terrible decision on my part. No. Yes. Product placements. No. Whoa, that's a lot of things. I don't. Ba ba ba. Yeah, my comments are on. I'm confused. Confusing. Very confusing. Changes saved. Disabled. Confused. Okay, I'm gonna stop getting confused and just move on. And then clearly 3 visits is the same card as Nature's Law, so I don't know why that was recommended. Farseek. Search your library for a plains, island, swamp, or mountain card. Put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. That's not useful, because it's... I want plains and forests. That's it. I don't care about the rest of these BS cards. Sakura Tribe it. Let's see you. Are you any good? Oh yeah! Sacrifice for searching for basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. I'm good. Oh, I'm tired. Chat rate? How do I have a chat rate when I don't have a chat? I'm confused. I am befuddled. In more ways than one, I'm actually befuddled. What? It don't make sense. I don't understand none of these beeswax. Some bullshit. God damn it. YouTube logged me out so I can't even check what the chat was. Because for some reason it won't show me the goddamn chat for the live stream. God damn it. And there we go. Okay, it was nothing. As usual. Okay, fuck's sake. I swear this app is just messing with me. I swear to God, it's messing with me. And I do not appreciate the nonsense. It seems to be I either have to choose views or I have to choose chat to have a chat. I might just choose views, to be honest. It makes me feel better. Ooh, I've got a nice high number for the views. It makes me feel better than seeing zeros across the board. YouTube is for reward growth. Let's check. Is I reward growth? Alright, let's check. Wild growth, what do you do? That was a something. I should have entered. There we go. Enchant land. Whenever enchanted land is tapped from mana, its control land does an additional 1 mana. It ain't too bad. And then Utopia Swirl is kind of the same thing, but you get to choose, I think? Yeah. So Utopia Swirl, I guess, would be another one I'd want to add. Okay, much distraction later. Let's move on. Blah blah blah. Search your library for a basic land card and put that land into play tapped. Then shuffle your library. Rampant growth. I'll keep it. Fine, whatever. Whatever, I'll keep it. Moving on. Requisition Raid is generally just good because it's 2 mana and you get to destroy a bunch of stuff. Well, no. You get to choose one and then you can additionally add for extra. So destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, and then put +1/+1 counter on each creature target player controls. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think the sorceries are fine. In fact, I might want to increase the number. So I'll be looking at my boards to see about that. And then we have the instance. Airbender's Reversal, destroy, or airbender target creature you control. It's not too bad. It's a bit expensive though. I feel like this is one of those cards where I'm considering just replacing it with something a little bit better. So I'm going to move that to my sideboard just in case I think of something else. Affinity for allies. I want to remove it really bad. So I did. Beast Within. It's alright. It does give my opponent a token, which I don't want to give them. But it's fine. Dawn's Truce. Gift a card. You may promise an opponent a gift as long as you cast a spell. If they do, your permanents you control gain hexproof for turn to turn. If the gift was promised, permanents you control also get indestructible until end of turn. Oh, nice. Then we have Eldamari's Call. I mean, I kind of want to leave that out. It's a really good, like, last-ditch effort card. I'm going to move it to my sideboard because I think it can be good. I'm not sure if I'm in a position where my deck quite suits the needs of that. Eldamari's Call is creature card, search, reveal it, put hand, library, shuffle. Good. Like it. Love it. 10 out of 10. Inspiring Call. Draw a card for each creature you control with +1/+1 counter on it. These creatures gain indestructible until end of turn. Nice. Then we have Path in Exile. Exile target creature. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put that card onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle. Now, one thing I wanted to check out was the Lorwyn auras. Specifically because I think that they fit in with that. Not Lorwyn auras. Auras. Shit. Was it Lorwyn auras? I'm pretty sure the auras I was thinking about were the new Lorwyn set, which I lost the name. It's gone. Give me a sec. Eclipsed. That's it. Such a good set. It wasn't treated very nicely though. I don't want this. Hold on. I wanted to look for something specific. So if we just sets, I just want to look at Lorwyn cards. Lorwyn Eclipsed. And I want to sort it by. No, that didn't work. Okay. Well, that's fine. Oh god, we're only an hour and 15 in and I feel so tired. Okay, I'm gonna get through the instance and then I think I'm gonna end the stream then. Secure the Waste is tokens for more mana. 10 out of 10, love it. Sundering Growth, destroy target artifact or enchantment, then populate. Put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of a creature token you control. Huh? Destroy target artifact or enchantment, then populate. Put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of a creature token you control. It's just... I'm going to put that on the sideboard because I'm not sure on that one. Chroma's Memorial is kind of a... Shall I just run through the last two? They're thick boys though, that's the problem. Hold on. Let me chug some water and then see how I feel afterwards. Because if I feel like going after chugging water, then you know I'm in the game. I'm eating my own hair right now. Alright lads. I'm going to try and get through artifacts. I think I've got enough energy now. So, Chroma's Memorial is kind of just 10 out of 10. I go against a lot of red decks, so yeah, whatever. Black is whatever. No one fucking uses black near me. I can't lie. No one likes black. Although I do think that my mate who does the red-white decks would love black, to be fair. But, oh well. You control flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, protection from black, and protection from red. You know, 10 out of 10. Definitely needed. Cranial Archive. Target player shuffles his or her graveyard into his or her library. Draw a card. I actually don't know why I have this. No, I don't. I have like 0 discard cards. Why the fuck do I have Crucible of Worlds in my... Why do I have either of these in my fucking... Hold on. Give me like 5 seconds. Creature control every type. Why do I have this? Lad. Okay, I'm going to put this one into sideboard, and I think I'm deleting the rest of them. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's whatever. Nox Amber. Tap, add 1 mana of any colour around the legendary creature and plays all. That's fine. Rona's Monument. Green creature spells cost 1 less to cast. Ooh, that's nice. When you cast a creature spell, target creature control gains +2/+2 and gains trample until end of turn. That's nice. Okay, then we have Signet, which is for 1 mana you tap both green and white, so you gain 1 mana of one of the colours. That's fine. It's a bit expensive for adding 1 additional mana, but what are you gonna do, I guess. Soul Ring, obviously, it's just a standard you gotta put in there. Talisman of Unity, I think is I'm gonna stick with, to be honest. It's just the same as the Signet, to be fair. Then we have the Allspark, which doubles each type of unspent mana I have, which would be great with something that kept my mana around in some way, but I don't have that, so we're sticking with this. The Banyan Tree. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Add that to gain 2 life. That's fine. Yeah, this is useful because obviously I'm trying to get my attack up, so I feel like I could quite easily get this to a decent, sustainable cost quite quickly. Then we have Fran Dynamo, tap for 3 mana. Self-explanatory. It's not as cheap as something like Soul Ring, for example, but it's still 10 out of 10. And then we have Titan Forge. Put a charge counter on this artifact. Remove 3 charge counters from this artifact. Create a 9/9 colorless golem artifact creature token. I think I'm going to have to put this into sideboard. No, considering. Because this fits a couple of my considering things. However, I think I need to look through what I'm considering first before I start going crazy on that. Yeah, I think artifacts are pretty solid for what they are. Nothing really spoke out to me and was like, I really need to change something here. And I can't think of anything off the top of my head that's an artifact I would want in this. My fucking chair, man. Hold on. It does this thing where it like unlocks itself. Anyway, enchantments. I think I'm at a right point of energy where I can still get through all this. If I start slurring my words, stop watching, I guess. Sorry, I just... It's just what happens, man. If an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many of those tokens instead. I'm a token deck. Thank you. Aura Shards. Whenever a creature comes into play under your control, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. I think that's useful because that includes tokens, and I'm going to be pumping them out. So, yeah, good. Kafer's Crusade. Whenever a creature under your battlefield enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. My god, that's good. I mean, again, this isn't a crazy counter deck, but it has enough things that help counters where this is useful. And it's not one of those things where I just need to focus on counters. It's a good, just all-rounder enchantment. Doubling Season, obviously. Garruk's Uprising. Enters the battlefield if you control the creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. Whenever you can, creatures you control have trample. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield, draw a card. Basically, the goal is drawing lots of cards. Unless you, of course, you noticed, but I feel like I should mention it. Then we have Gravity Well. Whenever a creature with flying attacks, it loses flying until end of turn. This is fucking useless. I don't know why I have it. I don't think I should have it. It's stupid. Get in my sideboard, bitch. Then we have Kyushu Island Plaza. I'm keeping all of my shrines because I have something that benefits shrines. Mirari's Wake. Expensive. Creatures you control get +1/+1, and whenever you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana of any type that land produced. It's a good one there. Problem is it takes 5 turns to come out. But hopefully if I have a good run, I can rush the land and get this out anyway. So 10 out of 10. Parallel Lives. I like Spider-Man, but I don't see Miles Morales and Peter Parker actually having parallel lives. I don't think that's the right descriptor for it. Peter Parker and Miles Morales have very different lives, and I wouldn't say they parallel each other, even if they are both Spider-Men. And I do think that almost like generalizes them both too much. So I'm going off a different tangent. If an effect would create 1 or more tokens on your control, it creates twice that many of those tokens instead. Fuck me. I'm actually kind of curious, what would all these tokens added up be like? Actually, in fact, there's something I wanted to download specifically for that purpose, which I think I'll test this deck once I'm done. I might show it off tomorrow if I do this, if I'm done with the deck. But there's an app, Mythic Tools, I think. You can go on here, there's something called Smart Deck, which I have here because I remembered that Smart Deck was a thing. But essentially it means it goes through all of your stuff, it runs it through some sort of AI thing, and it describes to you what the benefits of your deck are and what you're lacking in, which I find useful because I often don't notice the one thing I'm lacking when I'm making the deck, and it can sometimes be a little bit difficult to figure out what the thing you're lacking is, even if you are playing the deck. Sometimes you can miss the mark. Anyway, Skrell's Hive. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and create a 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature token with Toxic 1, and this creature can't block. Corrupted. As long as an opponent has 3 or more poison counters, creatures you control have lifelink. So if I remember, Toxic 1, how does Toxic work? Yeah, you just die at 10, and I can dupe 1 token like 100 times. That's so worth it. Yeah, I'm keeping that. It's a really beneficial thing along the token route. I think I've got a decent pace here. I've got some stuff that bumps Suki up. I've got some stuff that like works off of what Suki needs. And so I have bits and bobs here and there, which is quite great. Southern Air Temple. Okay, Sterling Grove. Other enchantments you control have Shroud, which I think is great because of stuff like Skrell's Hive. Sacrifice Sterling Grove to search for an enchantment card, reveal it, shuffle it, put it on the card on top. Yeah, that's fine. Tale of Katara and Toph. Toph, Loki, my favourite character in Atla. Didn't really care for Katara myself. Creatures you control have one. Whenever this creature becomes tapped for the first time during each of your turns, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Yeah, I mean that's pretty good. I think it's a bit expensive for what it does, though. That's the only harp I have about this. Fill in between on this one. I'm going to move it to my sideboard. Tribute to the World Tree. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card if its power is 3 or greater, or you can put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, which are all of the other bumps, means that this could go fucking insane. Lads, this might actually go insane. Sorry, I'm so used to talking to myself in private that I can't help but be drawn to myself, because it's almost like I'm expecting to talk to myself, because I don't think I'm in like a public situation. The True Conviction. Fucking expensive, but creatures you control have Double Strike and Lifelink, which I think is pretty good, to be fair. The only problem is it's really expensive. But next we have Unnatural Growth, which is the exact same. At the beginning of combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. Damn, son. Where'd you find that? But yeah, that is an expensive card. I'm keeping it though. It's really good. And then we have our lands. So, yeah, I think that's a good place to end stream. We're an hour and 30 in. We've gone through most of the deck. We've cleaned it up a bit. We've added a couple things. We've considered the stuff for planeswalkers, creatures, and all that jazz. So I think next stream I'm gonna look through these. I'm gonna see what's useful and what's not useful. I'm gonna add it, and I'm gonna go back for everything and kind of like shave off what I can. Think of the movie Surf's Up, essentially. That's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm surfing up. But yeah, this might be a heavy planeswalker deck now that I think about it. And of course, leave a comment, leave a like. Do tell me if you think I should change Suki for someone else. And if you do think I should change Suki for someone else, who would it be that so nicely slots into the deck I've already sorted out and might come to fruition by the next stream? But yeah, otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll obviously try and do it a little bit earlier next time because I took my goddamn time with starting the stream today. But otherwise, bye. See you later. Toodles. And no, I will not be doing one of the tricks of certain streamers with changing voice. I don't know why that came to mind, but yeah. Bye. I'll see you at Chinese later tonight.